Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Anna May and I post videos every Friday and Tuesday. As you can tell by the title, this video is a DIY Rapunzel costume, and it's Rapunzel in the style of the more recent Disney movie Tangled. So I dressed up as this character about 2 years ago, and I really liked how the costume turned out, and I had a lot of questions as to how I did it and everything. So I have written down like a few of the pointers down here in my trusty Kiki cake that I thought were really like the defining things that really helped. I don't have the pieces of the costume to show you right now because they're up in the attic somewhere, but hopefully I can explain to you pretty well what I mean. So starting off with clothing. So what I did for mine, I'm gonna have like, you'll see the thumbnail and I'll kind of continuously insert the photo here. I'll also have it Instagrammed, so like look it up on Instagram and when I post this video. So I was looking in like charity shops for a dress and I couldn't find one, and then a friend of my mom's was like, oh, I have a dress that would kind of work, and it was like a really cerise, what I call it, colour, magenta-y colour, and so the dress was a bit more pink than what I was looking for, but you know, it was a costume. It was not anything super important. It was actually, I didn't really say this before, it was for a thing in my school. When you're a final year student, there's a theme given, it's called Theme Day, and you dress up in that theme and people pretty much go all out. So I was pretty excited for that. My family have always been into like Halloween kind of costumes, and it's always around Halloween. So I just have the photo up here, and if you can see that. So that's a lot more purple. Okay, so I don't know where the camera just stopped recording there, but I just got up to fix it, and then everything just like fell. I have my feet on a ramp that we made for my dog, and it just like collapsed, and the camera fell, and the mirror fell, and we're back. So, what was I saying? Yeah, I was keeping the costume in like the general style of her costume, and so it kind of has the laces at the front, and little puff sleeves. So because it was like October, November in Ireland, it was kind of cold. So getting into the actual point of it, I had a dress that was like a bridesmaid's dress, and it was like a corset top dress, like really strappy, like just a tight dress, and then a skirt which was separate, but it was kind of made to look like one dress, which actually suited my costume perfectly. This was just something that a friend had given my mom. You know, we had looked in charity shops, but we hadn't found anything. And she said, yeah, do whatever you want with it. So what I ended up doing, and you'll see, maybe I'll just put in like a zoomed in picture of the corset here because I cannot get it from the attic, is I think I just got like a piece of light pink fabric, and I put a panel down the front, and I put like decorative scraps of lace I had down either side, and then I used a ribbon. I did a fake lace up effect, and it looked really good. Also, my mom helped me, and we made fake puff sleeves. That's very easy to do. You pretty much just get a strip of fabric, and you kind of cut it in a shape like that, and you put elastic in the long side of it, the short side of it here, and you make little puff sleeves just stitched on to the straps that are already on the dress, because it was like a strappy dress and it needed short sleeves. But because it was also so cold, I decided to, because like my chest was very open, which was fine, it ended up like not being covered anyways, and my arms, I got a pair of ballet tights that were like a really weird fabric. I seen them really cheap online. I was like, yes, I have to get them, they're so cheap. And they were such a weird fabric. They were like really rough or something. So if you're a dancer, maybe you've done it before when you were like cool and 12 or something, but you cut the feet off tights, and you also cut the crotch out of them. You wear it like a crop top. So I did that as well. The corset like top part of the dress was tight. I had bought a corset online that was like lilac, the right colour, but it just wasn't, it didn't come in time anyways, but like it was really tacky when it arrived anyways. I must find that, that's so funny. So I would definitely suggest DIYing your dress, it's not a problem. For the skirt, I did make like a fake half skirt. So I think I just like measured my waist, added maybe 2 inches, and then cut that out as a rectangle from light pink, super cheap cotton fabric. And I put a trim on it, just on the front, from what I can remember. And so I left it open, so it wasn't like a full skirt, it was like a half one, just to make it look a bit more princessy. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I know that the character is barefoot, so I wore sandals, so when you kind of got a peek of my feet, they looked kind of bare. What else do I have here? Yeah, so the main thing really to take from this is doing the DIY corset effect is very easy. It's very inexpensive. You don't even have to be able to sew. I think I like loosely stitched mine in case I want to take it off to like keep this dress the way it was, but you could hot glue it if you like bought the dress really cheaply. Just adding a bit more dimension to a dress. Try and get the most simple dress you can and then add dimension to it. You need to remember that it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just certain points of it that you really want to get. So like the puff sleeves to me were like necessary. So was the lace up kind of detail because of the era it was set in. That was necessary. And speaking of, the most necessary thing for the costume of Rapunzel is the hair. So to get the whole face and hair effect, I do have to admit it wasn't that difficult for me because I have long hair. I don't know if you can. So my hair is down to here and I got 4 inches cut off during the summer. So I've always had very long hair. And my colouring is fair and I am blonde. So that part of it, when my eyes are kind of greeny blue, so that part of it was not that difficult. For makeup, do keep it as simple as you can. Keep the colours really light. I would not wear makeup like I'm wearing today for this costume because the character is supposed to be quite young and you know she wouldn't wear dark coloured makeup anyways. You know, you want light and kind of white and shimmery type thing if you are going to wear eyeshadow. I can't remember what I wore. I think I wore just like some light coloured eyeshadow and like brightening the inner corner of my eye, you know, that really light, and like lots of blush and things like that to really just brighten your face. Hair. The hair. So what I did for my hair, which turned out really cool I think, was it's not all my natural hair. What? My natural hair doesn't go down to like my knees. So I did a Dutch braid, which is like an inside out French plait. You can look up another YouTube tutorial on it because that's what I did and it is super difficult, but I did that on both sides into a low ponytail. And I have it written down here, but I feel like the only way I can kind of do it is to show you. So I put my hair, so my Pinterest will be linked down below in like find me here section in the down bar, and if you go on Pinterest and look at my like, I have a board that I put all the pins that I used when I was trying to put together this costume in that board. So look at those websites. There was someone who had this like idea of doing your hair this way and it was so good. It's the only way I would tell people to do it, like for any costume that you need really long hair. So basically I did the Dutch braids and whatever so I could put stuff into them. I'll talk about the flowers in a second. And you know, it was a low ponytail like that. It's a really strong elastic. Make sure you have a strong elastic. And I just put a hole through it here. And I just used I had one of those like ponytail threader things, but you could use a multitude of different things to like hook it, even just your hand, to hook half of the extension down and pull it the whole way through. So also to imagine that, you need to know what the extensions were. So I don't know what the correct name for it is because I've always had my own hair. I've never used any type of extensions. But I bought really inexpensive extensions from like an Afro hair shop in my town. I don't know what the correct name for it is, but basically where women with textured hair would get like a weave put in or have braids put in. So it was really, really long hair, but it was like the lightest shade that they offer, and it's kind of a brassy blonde, which is my natural hair color. So especially when it's been lightened a little bit and it goes kind of brassy. So we picked that up. When I had looked at this particular brand, I think it was suggested in the tutorial, so be sure to look at that Pinterest board. I'll make sure it's like public and whatever on my Pinterest. And on Amazon, it was telling me it was going to be like, what was it, like €30, and then it was going to be like 50 to ship it from England, and it might have taken 2 weeks. I was like, are you joking? So I was freaking out about this, and I was like, do you know what, I can just use my natural hair, it's long enough, people will get it. And then my mom said, oh no, you know, let me check in some of the shops in town, because there were a few hair shops like that in town that would have sold things like that if they were doing people's like different types of braids and everything with stuff like that. So she just went in and she asked, she's like, do you have anything like that? And they were like, yeah, here. And she was like, oh, perfect. And it was only €5. It was the exact same brand I had been looking at online. And I think it's because, you know, it wasn't being braided into anyone's hair. So they were like, yeah, grand. And so my mom bought it for like $5.99 or something. And she said the women thought it was kind of funny. They were like, what is this for? And my mom was like, oh, it's for a Halloween costume. And she kind of explained how I was going to use it. They thought it was really funny. So basically, this was a huge like ream of hair. This video is, hopefully I can cut this down. This video, I feel like it's going to be kind of long. But basically, the hair was not quite as tall as me. I'd say it was, you know, like in half. It was maybe like 4.5 feet of hair. Does that make sense? So it was kind of up to here-ish on me, because I'm about 5'2", and that was like folded in half. So there was an elastic in the middle, and it was two sides of big long hair. So basically, when you had it threaded through, it was like you had 2 pieces here and 2 pieces here. This is not going to make any sense. So it was almost like if you think of like a little plus sign, though, or hair coming out all this way. So then you just tighten that ponytail really, really tight, as tight as you can, to push up those extensions and keep them really tight to the back of your head. And then you kind of mix it in with your natural hair and just start braiding. And you braid it into, like in one big braid into your natural hair, and then just continue the whole way down. And that's what I did, and I tied it off with like a big soft elastic or a piece of ribbon or something. And I had a super long braid. And to like kind of cover up where the hair blended, I could hardly find where it blended. Like people were asking, everyone was so confused because the colour matched so well. So definitely look for those extensions. Maybe if you're in the US, it'll be cheaper to get them online, but like check in a shop, in like a local shop, hair shop, if they sell things like that. So I made these flowers. I'll bring that a little bit closer. It's not going to focus, is it? I'm actually not going to mess with the focus. So I made these little flowers with kind of eyelet-y things. What are they called? You know, like split back pins. And they were decorative ones I had from scrapbooking years ago, but you could use like the really cheap plain like silver ones or whatever onto antenna pins that I had from ballet. And these were just like fabric decorative flower things that I got years ago, again, just craft supplies. Oh, for making like these little fairy things. So I made loads of these and I stuck them all through the braid. And I also used some actual flowers, some baby's breath, very inexpensive flour, just white tiny little flowers that you also see sprinkled throughout. So I used a couple of these to kind of cover up the back of my head where the extensions kind of merged. Also, my braid was super messy because it was a school day, so it was kind of early. So I kind of stuck a few of them like through the front as well. And it was like the real substance of the costume was the hair. But if I can find, maybe I'll look at that article again, see if I can find the kind of brand of hair I used. It was really funny. I had that like ream of hair, I don't know what else you'd call it, like hanging on the back of my door for ages because I didn't know how to store it. But it's up in the attic now. That's why I couldn't bring it down. It's really funny to look at. I didn't know hair came like that. Like I've never had any experience with that. So that's how I achieved the look. I hope this has helped you if you were looking to do a costume like that. If you have any more questions, be sure to ask me. Other little things you can add, you can have like a little green lizard, you know, like her little friend. I wasn't able to get one. I just couldn't for the life of me find one, and no one had one. Like a beanie baby is all I was looking for, like a lizard beanie baby, and no one had one. The closest thing I had was a crochet covered measuring tape that was in the shape of a turtle. That was literally it. So I didn't use that, needless to say. I did have a frying pan, which I subsequently broke in biology. So I knocked it off a table and it made a very loud noise. And that was the end of that frying pan. It was a really cheap one. So you can add those little things if you want. And you know, people with the hair, people will gather it. So if you have any more questions about the hair, you can always just leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe to see more from me. I do like fashion and beauty related videos and lifestyle videos, travel videos, and I do a planner video. If that's something that you are interested in or want to learn more about, I do planner videos every Friday. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.